With so many oils to cook with, which one should you use if you want to be shredded and healthy? Let's start with the first one, seed oils. This is something you should never cook with. Actually, this is something you should never consume because seed oils, they keep you inflamed, they make you sicker, and you're not going to be able to lose fat. So in the end, seed oils, they're going to make you fat, and they're going to give you a little bit of heart attacks and a little bit of cancer. So stay away from seed oils. So those canola oil, palm oil, rapeseed oil, vegetable oil, stay away from it. Okay, so no seed oils, never. I must apologize. I forgot to mention that there's actually one purpose for seed oils, which is if you have a tank in your backyard and you need to lubricate it, you can use seed oils. It's perfect for mechanical purposes, but you should never consume it. But for a tank or your car, you can use seed oils. That's going to be perfect. Now, let's move on to the next thing. Let's talk about olive oil and avocado oil. I don't have avocado oil, but let's imagine there's a second bottle, okay? So, it's not bad to cook with it, but it depends at what temperatures. Now, what you're thinking is the smoking point, which technically you're on the right path. But here's the thing, when it starts to smoke, it is too late. Obviously, you don't want to have an oil that's going to turn black and it's going to be burnt and it's going to smoke everywhere in the house. So it's very complicated to cook something at high temperatures with olive or avocado oil. But here's the problem. The oil doesn't start to break down when it starts to smoke. It happens way before that. And here's the thing, everyone talks about the smoking point and they look at the oils and like, okay, I can cook it at this temperature because that's the smoking point. No, you should be cooking at lower temperatures because it starts to break down way before. What happens, basically it oxidizes, meaning that when the oil is heated, it reacts with oxygen and then it releases really harmful compounds that are not good for you, that are going to give you cancer and are going to make you sick, which you don't want. So that's why olive oil, avocado oil, I wouldn't cook with it. If you're cooking with that, you cook at really low temperatures or you put it in your salad. By the way, make sure your olive oil and your avocado oil are extra virgin and cold pressed. Very important. As you understand now, olive oil and avocado oil are not as stable when they're heated. And the reason for this is because olive oil and avocado oil are mostly unsaturated fats, which are not very stable when they're heated. And this is why it is better to cook with something that is mostly saturated fats, which are those things, which we're going to talk about. Now, here's the thing. You have been told since a young age that saturated fats are very bad for you because at room temperature, they're solid. And they tell you that this is something that happens inside of your vein, that the butter that you're going to eat is going to clog your arteries because it's going to be hard in your veins, which is absolutely stupid. Saturated fats, as I discussed, are more stable when they're heated than unsaturated fats like olive oil and avocado oil. So saturated fats, as you can see, they are hard at room temperature. So usually, as a rule of thumb, the harder, the better. So let's start with the first one, which is coconut oil. This is something that, yes, you can cook with. It's more stable than unsaturated fats. But the thing is, it's sweet. I don't know if you want your steak to taste sweet. Sometimes it can be very weird. But this is not my favorite. Look, if you're vegan or if you're vegetarian, this would be a good. This would be a good fit for you. There's no animals inside of this, and it's a good oil to cook with. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, cook with coconut oil, you will be fine. Even though I don't agree with your diet, I think it's not very good for your health. You can use this. It's going to be good for you. Now, the thing that I prefer to cook with is butter, animal fats, because there's so many nutrients in animal fats. So butter is a good fit. However, butter, you can only heat it at very high temperatures. It's very good, like for making eggs, for example, or cooking something slowly. However, if you're cooking steak, for example, you have to heat up the pan very hot. And the thing is, butter is gonna start to become black and smoke, and as we discussed earlier, when it starts to smoke, it's already too late because the breaking down of the fat has begun way before it started to smoke. So that's why butter, I like it for something that I don't have to heat up the pan very hot, but for something like steaks or meat, I don't use butter anymore. The thing that I use now when I'm heating something very hot is ghee. Ghee is basically butter, but the thing is, it resists high temperatures, which is something we want. Basically, ghee is just butter that has been heated very slowly, and then it separates in 3 layers, and you take the middle part, and that becomes ghee. And ghee, the cool thing about it is that you can just store it at room temperature. You don't have to put it in the fridge like you do with butter. So this is something that I love cooking with because it resists high temperatures, which is something I need when I'm cooking steak, which I do a lot. So this is perfect. If you want to cook meat, steaks, or whatever you have to cook at high temperatures, or you want to fry something, you can use ghee. This is perfect. Not butter, because again, butter, yes, it's good, but at high temperatures, it's going to start to break down and release those not very good compounds inside of your food. By the way, when I was talking about butter, I was talking about like real butter, not margarine, which is full of soybean oil, which is a seed oil. So when I said butter, I meant like butter, which the ingredient is only milk. If you don't believe me, you can just look for yourself. I don't know if you can see it because of the light, but it's only milk. So if you're cooking in butter, please get yourself real butter, okay? Now, recently I discovered something even better than ghee, which is beef tallow. And the reason for this is because what I've noticed is that with ghee, it starts to smoke way earlier and it starts to have a smell earlier than beef tallow. Beef tallow, I found it extremely perfect for steaks. So anything that you have to heat up at very high temperatures, I recommend beef tallow. Beef tallow is basically just beef fat. So if you want to cook something at very high temperatures, what I always recommend is use fats of animals. So you can use lard, which is fat from pigs. This is fat from a beef. So I believe this one is the best thing you can cook with. I've been cooking with beef tallow for the past 4 months, and to be honest, it's my favorite. It resists at very high temperatures, as I said, and because it's fats from an animal, it contains so many nutritional factors that is just very good for your body, and you get a lot of energy from eating fats of animals. So this is it. That's all the oils that I had for you. So remember, the harder the better. Cook in saturated fats if you want to go into higher temperatures. And the best that I found, again, is either ghee, which is clarified butter, or animal fats like beef tallow or lard. So those things you can find in Costco, by the way. So ghee, Costco, beef tallow, Costco as well. So that's not a problem to find them. You don't have to go to a farm and like raise horses just to find the beef tallow or kill a beef to find it. No, you just go to Costco and you're gonna find them. It's pretty easy. In the end, I understand that this might sound like nothing. It's just the oil that you're gonna cook your food with. It's not that much oil. But the thing is, you're eating 3 times per day, 2 times per day, and this oil gets absorbed into your food, and you do that every single day. And you will notice the difference in your body shape, in you losing fat or you gaining fat, depending on the oil that you're using. If you're using this thing, which are seed oils, you're gonna have a hard time to lose fat. You're actually gonna gain fat. If you cook in something like those, saturated fats, you will notice that it's gonna be extremely easy to lose fat, gain muscle, and at the same time, you will stay healthy. And the best thing is, it's actually better for cooking. It tastes better and it doesn't break down at high temperatures. So it's a win-win. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one.